So we took a break from the show because we were taking a break, period.
It's been a while here. I mean, not since we've talked, but since we've talked on this podcast.
Since we've talked to everybody else.
Was it harder having me around? Was it like, dude, like, bro, could you? This is great, but...
Always a great start to the
What's
episode.
up, everybody? Welcome to the Dialogue podcast with the love of my life, Shaylyn Ford, who's serving face currently. Is that you just looked at me weird? Was that a bad thing to say?
No,
I thought that was a compliment.
No, that is a compliment.
I try to listen to the kids and the things they say.
I'll take these off because I feel like they're distracting.
You're serving so much face that those glasses couldn't mute down. What
That's
you're serving.
very lovely and kind. Thank you.
It's been a while here. I mean, not since we've talked, but since we've talked on this podcast.
Since we've talked to everybody else together.
So we got
Hey,
this
everyone.
Dialogue podcast, which we named.
And you are Greg Ford, by the way, which we forgot to mention.
We came up with this idea based on really, we love to talk and have dialogues, and we do kind of nonstop. And we thought, let's record some of them. Been doing it now for a while, and but we took a hiatus. Mm-hmm. We took some time off, and now we're back. By the way, I was watching Hard Knocks.
Great show.
Which is, and
Shout out.
The NFL will pick a team. They'll do the preseason deal. There's always like well-known players. Like this year they did the Buffalo Bills, and it was Josh Allen, who's last year's MVP. So of course you're like, hey, I'm kind of want to see some behind the scenes of these Pro Bowlers. But then you kind of latch onto some guys who are kind of on the border of making the team. Mm-hmm. And there's kind of the storyline of, are they going to make it or they're not? Some do.
I feel like if
don't.
somebody's not even into football and like doesn't know anything about it, Hard Knocks is such an entertaining show.
No doubt.
I love Hard Knocks.
No doubt. So anyway, they're tracking Josh Allen. At one point, they're showing a BTS of him on a podcast. It's sort of like this, like it's a dialogue, interview type podcast. But their whole shtick was they were eating chicken wings. And I was like, I feel like...
Was it hot
You
ones?
feel like you're missing out?
I think they were hot. I think they got progressively hotter.
Yeah, hot ones.
Yeah, that's the name of the show.
Okay.
And
I don't really listen to many podcasts.
They basically just keep eating hotter and hotter sauces and keep trying to have like a productive interview while they're on fire.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well,
Sean Evans, the host, is probably the greatest interviewer of all time.
Really?
Yes. Okay. I'm not going to make a...
No, but
I'm not
going to
make a blanket statement.
Yeah.
But consistently, the guests are like, how the heck did you know to ask that question? Like, pretty much, it's like 10 questions, and pretty much every single question is like an incredible question.
Yeah,
and every question, it gets hotter. The wing sauce?
Yeah, and then the questions are getting hotter too. So it's like...
So you're catching someone where they're like already distracted and vulnerable because of this hot sauce.
And then they got to hyper focus because you just threw them some high heat.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
I mean, I don't really like hot wings. I like wings. I like garlic parmesan. I like barbecue. I like buffalo. Yeah. I don't like them real hot. Yeah. So I wonder if I could do...
I like some spice on things. Like, I like a little kick, but I'm not somebody that's like, let me test my intestines and how much heat they can handle.
Exactly.
It does not sound like a good time.
Yeah. But I would be up for just wings. Like,
You just want to have wings.
Yeah, without them getting hot. Although I feel like just watching people eat and talk.
Yeah. I don't love that.
It's not like Hot Ones isn't really a podcast. It's more of like a show. So they're editing out when people are like
chomping on wings.
Like blowing their noses because their nose is running because they're eating spicy
tears
food.
streaming down their face.
So just technical question. The difference between a podcast and a show would be post-production, essentially, that you're instead of just setting the camera and go, it's like we're cutting this thing up. How would you define it?
I don't know if they do any audio form only.
Yeah,
like they? I think it's video form only.
That's probably the better definition if I had to guess. I can look it up if you want, but my definition tends to be if it's stable cameras and a long form conversation that's not edited, it feels like a podcast. If it's something that's edited into a 15-minute, like if you're taking a 2-hour long conversation and cutting it into 15 minutes, that feels more like a show to me, but that's my definition.
Gotcha. Okay. That's helpful.
Anyways, so your whole thing about that was just you would like wings?
Yeah, I was just thinking that's a good idea. Maybe we need to think of our own thing, just...
Yeah.
Like you know
rock
what we could do, because
candy or something.
you and I have been hydrating a lot lately with the
Yes.
element.
I know.
And so that, I'll drink, 30 ounces of basically water at a time, which, again, if you have a little coffee, it's got to come out. So what we could do is drink 30 ounces of
see how long
element
we
and go until we have to go to the bathroom, and then it's over. And that
It would be a
sets
very short show.
that sets the timeline of, anyways. What are we talking about today? What are we doing?
Yeah, let's move on. Well, speaking of sabbatical, right? Like so we took a break from
Yep.
the show because we were taking a break, period.
Yep.
So you were out for a few weeks. I was primarily out with you just so that we could like have some time as a family and, enjoy all of that kind of thing. Speaking of talking, I feel like that's pretty much all we did during the sabbatical is like
Rocking
we were
chairs.
absolute like retirement era vibes for that entire thing because we just sat under the awning on our back porch in a couple of wooden rocking chairs and listened to audiobooks and would pause and talk like for a couple weeks straight. It was
Yeah.
great. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I was encouraged by the fact that I think when we get to retirement,
That we're going to be okay.
it'll be great. Like
Yeah.
I think some people I've said, like,
Yeah.
that is, all jokes aside, a season that people struggle because our lives revolved around our kids, our family, our careers,
Our job,
whatever. And frankly, we're not around each other that much. We're apart a lot. And then all of a sudden, now we're in the same place at the same time. And it's like, what in the world? And so, we had 5 weeks of that. And I thought it was awesome. I personally
It was great.
enjoyed the time.
I think, honestly, even some of the content that we took in during that time is stuff that we can share. And I think I need more of this coffee. I apologize. Woo. I shouldn't just like sit down for too long. Does that ever happen to you? You sit down and like all of a sudden you get tired because you're not moving anymore. That's
Definitely.
where I am. But I think there was some really good stuff that we got out of that time, discussions that were had, some books that we read. I know you've mentioned them in the past few weeks, but like that's stuff we can unpack.
I got a question
the
too.
Experience. Yeah, go ahead.
So I don't know how many years you've done a short sabbatical in the summer, maybe 3 or 4. But I remember the first one that you came back, Greg, you almost seemed to be more tired when you came back from the sabbatical.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate.
And then in like this past one, it's like noticeably energized in a season that's probably could be argued more exhausting than maybe that season was. So I'm curious how you've gotten better at resting over time, specifically in the sabbatical. But I feel like I've been relearning how to rest and what rest looks like in this season. So I'm curious how you've gotten better at doing that over the past few years.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, yeah, I think it was 2021 was the first time I did it. And it was if you put that moment in time, it was like on the back end of COVID. And I felt like I'd fought a war in many ways, just trying to, navigate life and family and the church. And of course, again, not to relive all of that, but that was a heavy time in terms of polarization, socially and politically, and
loss,
just
losing people we loved, people in our church losing people they loved.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah, so trying to fight for stability and pull people together, it just felt like an impossible task. And so on the back end of that, I was like, I need to take some time off, and I didn't rest at all. It was really, I had a lot of internal battles. I was dealing with just some anxiety and fear around me not being here, feeling like I was having the people on our team and our church was like exposed. Like I wasn't there to help, provide or help them be safe or whatever. I wasn't there to minister. And so that was like an internal battle I was having, which of course, if you'll bring that to God and you'll wrestle through it, there's a lot of growth there, which is ultimately sometimes maybe putting too much importance on yourself, learning to trust God and truly put your faith into a very practical action. And then some of it was just, again, personal, psychological things I need to work through, things with our family. So at that time, our boys were in a pretty tough spot. And so I was like seeing their limitations all the time and with their autism and things like that, and it was making me very sad, and I don't like to be sad. And so anyway, that season was less about rest probably and more about internal work, and I'm glad I did it. But I do think this year, doing it a few consecutive years now, I've gotten a little bit better at it every time. The approach I took was a little different. Brandon, to your question, a couple times when I took time off, I over-programmed my time. So because I want to have fun or I want to, do things I don't normally do, I'm like, hey, we're going to travel here and then we're going to do that and then we're going to go there. So I'm on planes and I'm staying in hotels and that kind of can wear on you. So a couple times I did it and I ended up more tired than if I had just rested. So I decided this time, I was like, what I need now is I really do need to rest, almost to the point that I'm going to risk boredom. Like I'm going to be willing to be bored if I need to. Mm-hmm. And under-programmed it. And I thought, hey, if I'm itching to do something, then we'll do it spontaneously.
Mix, yeah.
But I did, my program was very light. And now in other seasons, that's not like the guaranteed formula. But
that's what you needed right now.
Yeah, I think it's really about the right question. The right question is, in this season of time, what do I need most? Do I need to have fun? Do I need something exhilarating? Do I need, or do I need to rest? And so, I've just been carrying a lot of things and emotionally and with my schedule and things like that. I just you know what, I'm going to kind of step away. And so, that I also think, Brandon, some of that work that I have been doing, I would say it's not like I only did that work on that first time off, but it started that work.
Right.
So I think those few years of kind of digging into those things made it so that I could step away and not feel sort of compulsive and like everything's at risk and I'm in fight or flight or whatever. So
isn't it interesting how sometimes certain activities like that, things that seem like they should just be restful, enjoyable, whatever, can almost hold up a mirror for us to some areas that it's like, oh, I didn't realize this bothered me this much, or I had fear here, or I had sadness here, or you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it is fascinating how there are just certain things that we do in our lives when you step outside of your day-to-day routine where you can kind of put certain things out of your head a little bit. Once you get out of that day-to-day routine, all of a sudden it's right here, and then you have to kind of start journeying through it.
It's interesting because I feel like I specifically remember, Greg, with your first sabbatical, you talking about not programming anything, and you're like, I'm going to force myself to be bored. And I, for some reason, have this image of you, probably from telling me a story of just sitting in your living room, just looking out the window.
Yeah,
just
it was. I literally did. Yeah, so you remember right. That's literally what I did.
So 4 years later, and it's like you took on the same strategy that you did with the first sabbatical, but in a
With
healthier emotional
different results.
space. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was the interesting thing is, again, when you're kind of in the rat race or hamster wheel or whatever metaphor you want to use, when you're going and you're sort of feeding off of, frankly, sometimes the anxious energy, the fear, the stress, the whatever kind of is feeding you, when you stop, that is the response, is essentially boredom, which then causes you to reach for your phone or to reach for your work or your mind to be loud and not be able to quiet your mind. And I think over time doing that internal work, then you're able to actually do that. You're capable of changing pace or coming all the way down to a stop and not have those internal compulsions.
That's what I mean about that mirror, right?
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden now you do see some things, and so you've had time to work through it. And so now you can take the same approach of I'm not going to overschedule, I'm not, and have a completely dramatically different result.
Yeah.
Because you took the time to do the work and figure out where things were coming from and work through feelings. And so I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I thought this was great.
What was the best part for you in terms of the time off? Was it harder having me around? Was it dude, bro, could you, this is great.
Well,
but
I will say it's hard just in the sense that the routine that I would normally do is now different, but it's also it's really good. Like I loved that time in that break. So it's just an adjustment, right? It's like I have some friends whose husbands are in the military, right? And they're like, you were just gone for 6 months. And like, I'm so happy you're home. But now like day to day just got different. So it was great. It was just different. But summer's the time to do that anyways. I mean, your schedule's a little off anyhow. But yeah, for me, I think the amount of time that we had to just sit and like explore a topic uninterrupted for a very long period of time, and really dive deep on some things was really good, because I think we do have some really great discussions that lead to more good questions, and that, lead to interesting concepts and thoughts. And so to me, that was the best part for sure, was just like there felt like there was plenty of space for that. It didn't feel like, oh, let's wait until after the kids are in bed and, then you're tired, or you're trying to fit it in the morning, or does that make sense? You're trying to do it on 2 hours on a date night. It's like, no, we could sit here and listen to an hour of this book and then sit and talk about it for another hour and like really dive into some stuff. So I felt like there was a lot of just really good, like discussion, debate, all kinds of things. It was great.
Yeah, I agree.
Does one of you have a higher like need or desire or tolerance for alone time than the other one? And sometimes when like Bailey and I just went on vacation, and like by the end of it, like I loved it, had a blast, but by the end of it, I'm like I feel like I need to kind of be by myself for a little bit, because it's like I've been with somebody the whole time, and it makes me feel like
You feel
it
terrible
feels
for
wrong.
it,
Yeah,
right,
like but I guess I'm just gonna tell myself that's not bad. But I'm
No,
curious if you
it's-
guys ran into that.
It's not. That's how I'm wired. I definitely am somebody that like needs some time alone sometimes. And it's not because you don't enjoy the person you're with. I love spending time with him. I love spending time with my kids and my friends and whatever. But some people are just wired that like that's where our energy restores. Other people get the energy from the interaction. So it's like, even if you loved the interaction with that person, if you're the type of person that restores alone, it took something out of you. And so you're like, I want to have more to give. I'm going to need to go put more fuel in the tank. Like, just give me a minute. I don't think that's wrong. But that's coming from somebody else that's also wired that way. So I don't know.
What are your thoughts, Greg?
Yeah, I honestly, I actually do enjoy time alone. I would say I probably need less in terms of just completely alone. Probably less than Shaylyn. I know that's like one of the great gifts I can give her is when she's sort of peopled out, to go, hey, let me take the kids and we'll be back in a while. We'll go get lost. And just to give her some time, or to set, go, hey, why don't you
go get lost?
Go get lost for a little bit. And I know that's a real gift to
Yeah.
her. I mean, I do find the healthier I am, the older I get, the more I do value times by myself and not feel fidgety or whatever, but to be able to kind of just
Sit in
be
it.
alone with my thoughts and I value that quite a bit at this point. And it's kind of funny. Again, this sounds, it could be misinterpreted. Like I was talking about, maybe undervaluing each other's company, which is not the case at all. You're my favorite person to be around and everything. But like Shaylyn was out of town for 9 days doing a project recently, and normally, I was asleep by 9:30 every night. So I honestly got probably a little better sleep. I slept a little longer, and
Yeah, because we weren't up talking.
because again, we put the kids down, and that's our time to chat. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I mean, it's brought so much value to my life. Some of my favorite moments of our marriage have happened, sometimes in the wee hours of the morning, of just things we've wrestled to the ground together. I feel tremendously bonded through it. But when you're not there, okay, maybe I don't have that, but I find a lot of value in being alone,
Yeah.
shutting things off, quieting things down, being by myself. And then of course it makes, I miss you. And then when you're back, it's like, oh man, this is great. It's almost like freshening up the relationship. So it's
Yeah.
not about abandonment or not valuing that time. I think it's everything in moderation, right? Even solitude.
Yeah.
And I think probably my biggest frustration when you're gone is when I am quiet with my thoughts, I got a bunch of thoughts that I want to process with someone. And I'm like, so I'm trying to like store them up and file them away so that, when you get back, I'm like, hey, 7 days ago, I was thinking about this.
Right. Well, it's funny because like I actually kind of had a moment of realization around that earlier today of just how much you do that, like process, hey, let me process the thought with you, whatever. Like when you left today, you had just been processing a thought right before you left. And so I literally was waiting. I was watching my phone. He's like, I thought he's going to call me. He's going to have another thought to process. I knew you were. And when my phone rang, I was like, there it is. Like you definitely do that a lot where, you'll be like, okay, I had this other thing I was thinking. Tell me your thoughts on this. And you'll put it out. I love it. I think it's super fun. And I think it's one of the best parts of our relationship. It was just kind of funny, like when it hit me, how much I was like, oh, I'm expecting a phone call. Like I am waiting for a phone call because there's no way that his like train got running down the tracks and he's just going to let it stop. Like he's going to have 5 more things he was thinking about that he wants to talk about on the way in.
Yeah.
So,
yes, sir.
Love that.
As a fellow external processor, Shaylyn, how do you create space for him to process through those thoughts? Maybe even if you're like disagreeing or like it's kind of rubbing you the wrong way, like, that's something that Bailey does really well with me is gives me the space and then says, I think you mean this, or like, I don't love the way this is coming across, but like, what's that balance, especially in a culture where I think everyone could do a better job at listening to people with different perspectives. And how do you create space for that?
That's a good question. I think we both do that. Like kind of even just what you were just saying, like you have to, if you don't love the way something was coming out, then you can be like, I don't know, like I don't, we've had those moments where I'm like, I don't know that I agree with that. Or I feel like you're, kind of saying something negative here or whatever. And I mean, everyone has their miscommunications. We had one earlier this week where it was like, I felt like what he was saying in a certain context felt like an attack. And he was like, that wasn't what I was trying to do at all. So, I mean, you just, I think, have to keep talking it all the way out, until, and you can say like, this is what about it bothered me, or this is like how it read to me. And then the other person can let you know, like, well, this is what I was actually trying to get to. And then you just have to choose to believe the best. But I think most of the time when you're processing stuff, it's not even like personal, back and forth about me. It's just thoughts about things in life, theology thing, cultural, social, all kinds of different stuff. And we debate stuff a lot. And I think we can get like, I wouldn't call it heated, but like passionate. Yeah. Like we're not mad about it, but we might both passionately argue for a side, like understanding it's just about the debate of it, like being able to just share ideas like that, back and forth. And it's not personal. It's, it's truly just like debating the idea itself and not the person. And sometimes, we'll both talk ourselves to a different side or off to one side, or we'll just, I agree to disagree, or maybe the language around that. I think that's something we come to a lot is like, maybe we're disagreeing not necessarily on the concept, but like, I don't know that language makes it super clear. And so then coming to like a clearer way to say something. I think that's probably one of the best things that's come from some of our conversations for you work-wise is like really it has allowed us to boil down a concept. It's like taking the 2 gallons of, maple syrup from the tree and you once you boil it down, you've got like 4 ounces or whatever, I feel like that's kind of what it is. It's like we take these things and boil it all the way down until you have very concise language to be able to share that with somebody else.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand, like as the listener, we tend to think of when people are saying things that they're articulating what they believe or what they think. And it's important as a listener to know sometimes when people are saying things, they're trying to figure out what they believe
That's
and
right.
what they think.
Yeah.
And even though they may say it in a way that sounds definitive, they're trying it. I use the term trying it on for size.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try this thought on and see if it fits. If it fits weird, is it small? Is it big? Is it, whatever? Or I don't like it at all and I throw it out. And so,
Or you'll say, I'm not married to this,
Yeah.
but, so you're letting me know you're thinking about a situation, a concept, a, decision or whatever, but you aren't conclusive yet, even if it sounds conclusive.
yeah. So I think as the listener, knowing that, allows you to kind of enter into that conversation and again, ask questions along the way, like, that are either probing or clarifying or, and in a sense, I think that's a way of serving that person. If that's kind of how you both see it, is to go, well, I'm going to tilt the prism this way. And, is there something you haven't thought about here? Or, and again, I think you're forcing or helping that person. Can't force anybody, but, supporting them by helping them think critically about something and maybe bringing a blind spot or something from their peripheral vision into their focus.
Yeah.
But again, to hear things that may sound like somebody is being dogmatic or conclusive when they're really not, they're trying it on.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that.
All right. Good stuff. We done?
If you guys want to be done,
I mean, I kind of need to use the bathroom.
you guys have been
Greg did
talking
his
for
30
5 weeks.
Yeah. Greg did drink his 30 ounces before the show started. So
I just want the people to know you've gone to the bathroom about 4 times in the past 45
So
minutes.
here's what I want to say. I think at some point we need to have a sponsor, and the sponsor, my first sponsor that I want is Element, because they have changed my life.
That truly, no, I co-sign that.
Wait.
110%.
What is Element?
It's LMNT, Element, and it is basically hydration.
Yeah, it's an electrolyte drink powder.
It's
Salt-based.
so good. It tastes so good.
First of all, I am like really picky about flavors of things. I don't like a lot of flavored drinks. I think they just gross me out. The mango chili, the way that it is an actual
Chili.
so it's like, because it's a salt-based thing.
It's good, dude.
Let me just tell you.
Wait, chili like the fall soup or like?
No, chili,
okay.
spicy chili, right? Like, think like tahini on the rim of a drink. Like, okay, so you've got mango, so you've got the sweetness. You've got the chili, so you've got the heat. And then it's a salt-based product, so it's salty as well. Listen, it is to die for.
So
I drink it.
If you would struggle
all
to
day
knock down a
long.
30-ounce bottle of water, put a little Element in there. Do you like Gatorade? Do you like the taste of Gatorade?
Yeah, I like Liquid IV.
Okay.
I've
so
actually never had that.
I think it is 10 times better than Liquid IV.
Really?
No shade, Liquid IV, sorry. But
Liquid
but
IV.
shade.
But we're
Liquid IV
sponsored
will
by,
not
we
be.
don't want you as
we're sponsored by
sponsor.
Element around here. All right, so this is an Element
This
family.
is an Element family.
That's right. We're
and
dyed in the wool.
That's right.
For the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, we just don't have a promo code because we're not trying to get any kickback.
Because
Dude,
I'll take a kickback. I'll take a kickback for Element, and so I
Well,
can supersize my value meals.
Promo codes for the people. Also, you can get like variety pack boxes. So like Greg drinks mostly the raspberry. Greg and Ella both drink the raspberry. Sometimes
and
the citrus. I love the mango chili. That's what I'm the most addicted to. But also, they have things like chocolate
You'll
salt,
put in your
chocolate
coffee?
caramel that you could add to your coffee, or do like now as the weather's getting colder, do a cold weather drink and still be getting that hydration. It is.
Let's be clear. We are getting no kickback. We have
I'm
no
open to
sponsorship
it.
with Element. But Element, if you want a
Element,
friend,
we will talk about you every week.
And by the way, this
Happily.
is not greedy. This is like the best sort of transaction, which is you're telling someone about something that's amazing,
100%.
and everybody
I am
wins.
Sleeping better.
Yeah.
My skin feels better. My hair, like literally everything, because I am doing such a better job at staying hydrated.
Even frankly, even appetite, because again, a lot of
Appetite's a
times
big
you
one.
don't drink enough water. You're more hungry, so
Right.
you don't
think
find
you're
yourself
hungry, but
famished
you're
all the
actually
time.
thirsty. Yeah. Brain fog, like it's amazing. Like, when you actually drink enough water and are truly hydrated like you're supposed to be and your minerals are correct, it's amazing. You feel so much better. I told Greg the biggest thing I noticed that actually shocked me, Brandon, was that I would occasionally have like these waves of, I wouldn't call it anxiety, but like just like physically feeling doom. And I was like, where is this coming from? I was just dehydrated. I don't get those as long as I'm drinking enough. So like Element is literally saving my mental health.
We had to take, when Bailey was pregnant, we had to take her to the hospital so many times because she just couldn't like take in enough water.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
There you go.
But
welcome.
Greg, do you not vibe with the mango chili as much? Because I haven't seen your passion. And also, I was at your house the other day, and you guys got an Element package, and I think that you said, I thought we were going to get 2 raspberries with this one. And I think that you had 2 mango chilies, and so you're not wanting as much mango chili. Am I Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah, you are.
So when I see mango chili, I just know Shaylyn will be hydrated because I don't drink. I mean, it's not bad. I think it's good, but it's nothing compared, in my opinion, to the raspberry or the citrus.
Listen, I love the raspberry and citrus too. I'm just saying, for me, that combination of like sweet, heat, and salty just can't be topped. Also, little last thing, mix it with like some Topo Chico. Any of the flavors.
So it's like a LaCroix type deal?
But so much better. Like,
All right,
if
by the
you
way,
want...
I do have to use the bathroom. I'm signing off.
All right, bye.
I love you guys.
Love you.
See ya.
Drink Element.
You guys can keep talking.
We're good.